How is 2011 going for you in general in Russian River, Sonoma Coast?
Uh, it's been one of those vintages that as a farmer you have to really be in the vineyard a lot. You really have to look at what's happening with the vines and making decisions based on weather predictions for the future. The Farmer's Almanac and the Biodynamic Calendar both predicted a very cool, wet spring. So I made the decision across the board not to cultivate any of the vineyards and decided, later on I could, and I think it really paid off for us this year to not have cultivated anything. We got over 3 inches of rain here in June, wettest June we've ever had on record in this area. So as you can see, these vines are fairly balanced. They're young. We don't have tremendous amount of vigor. Most of our vineyards have a little more growth than we would like, but I think we have a chance to make a real Burgundian style vintage. We don't have our crop levels are pretty much balanced. There's no need to drop fruit for wine quality. The canopies are full. There's a little more growth than we would like to see, but for the most part we're looking pretty good. And we'll just do a fruit thinning at about 85% veraison to balance out the maturity of the fruit. And we're going to be a little late, probably mid to late September harvest instead of early September. So I'm pleased with the way things are looking, and I don't think that the clusters and berries are going to size up like they did in 2006. I think that was an anomaly, and we should have actually quite small berries and clusters because we had so much shatter during the rain. Many of the berries won't have seeds in them, and they'll stay very small. So I'm very optimistic we can have a great vintage here. So
You were telling me about '09 and how pleased you were with the results of that vintage. That's your favorite vintage so far of the vintages that you've made. How did that vintage vary from this one in terms of weather?
it was a cool and mild summer all along, but it wasn't as wet in the spring to this vintage. Last year, 2010, being outright cold and kind of cloudy and foggy most of the summer, this vintage is a lot more similar to 2009 in that we've had sun and kind of clouds rolling in and fog rolling in, but 70s and 80s in temperature. But we got more rain this spring than we did in 2009. Mm-hmm. As far as crop size, cluster morphology, development size, berry size, very similar to 2009 this year. So once again, a vintage like 2007 where we didn't have to thin fruit for wine quality, we just balanced out the difference in maturity of fruit at 85% veraison. So it means the vines basically are self-balancing, which is, I think, the ultimate goal, is having those vines be balanced naturally. So.